Where's my crown? I need my fucking crown for this. All right, so this is what's going on. I am loving my day right now. I am at this point where just give me a minute here. So I am setting up Discord and OBS and all that jazz because I'm getting ready to do my streaming for Twitch. I'm in the playground today. So it feels so good to finally have all this organized in my head. It's oh my god, I cannot explain it to you. I have had this stuff in my head for 40 years and I'm now finally realizing it and I'm putting it out in the semi-abstract physical world so that I can finally organize it and see it all. And as I do this, it's just calming the chaos in my mind. Sometimes I look at things and I go, okay, the reason why I was so insane for so long was because I had all of this in my head. Look, I cannot explain that to you enough. Like, and the more I'm putting it out there and I'm sorting it so that it's out there and it's no longer taking up mind space, I'm going, wow, this like I can focus and I can think and I can because I've been hoarding this in my head since I was like 4 years old. Oh my God, it feels so good to finally just think. So I get this, I build Authenticity City. I get it all out there and I can just feel everything calming down. And it started with the garden. So I was able to put all my philosophy and psychology into the garden. And then I realized, oh, I have so much more here. And of course I do. I have my musical compositions. Oh my God, like my musical compositions were my breaking point. I couldn't handle it. That when I got to the point with my musical compositions where I had to get the songs out of my head. So I have like stacks of music that's just this. I have operas that I've written that's just there. And it's great because when I wrote Dolor and Shadow, several of my songs actually ended up in my books. Like, well, two of them. And then I do poetry, which poetry is just songs without music. so so I have that. So I have my writing, I have my musical composition. Welcome to my brain. This is my fucking insanity. So I have my musical composition. And then I have so I have my music and then I have my poetry. And then I have all of the books in my head. And so that's when I wrote this is book 1. And book 2 is just as big. So I've got like 2 of these. And this is my fantasy novel. And this is just 2. Like I have, oh my God. But Berrigan's, I got 3 Berrigan books and I've still got like 7 books in my head, plus all the short stories. So I started to filter out in 2006. That's when I hit my next level of breaking point. So in 1992, I couldn't handle it anymore. And I started to do musical composition. And that's when I wrote my operas. That's when I wrote all of my music when I was 12. From 12 to 15 years old, that's when I did a lot of musical composition. And then I started writing books when I was 18 years old. I wrote a vampire story. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to calm down. But it's in my head. It's in my head. It's in my head. I don't have to worry. So I lost it. It was all written in pencil when I was like in 1998. I wrote it all in pencil in a notebook. And it was basically a vampire story that took place during the Civil War. And one of the vampires was a Black woman and the man who turned her. And I have this massive, extensive story. So it was actually the difficulties of this Black woman inside during the Civil War, but she was a vampire. So it's like a thing. Like I had this whole, and that I wrote in 1998. And then I abandoned that and went back to musical composition and I finished off my opera and my musical. And oh my God, I still have that. I still sing that. I love it so much. And then I did in 2006, I started writing my fantasy novels. And then I did poetry from 2006 to 2015. Then I wrote my memoir. And then I started to do my psychology research. And mind you, this is all while I was doing ballet. I was doing, oh my God, what was I doing at this point? I was doing ballet at this point, and I was doing theater, and I was doing opera singing, musical composition. I wanted to be James Horner. I wanted to be like the next James Horner. And then I had all of that happening. And then I had my Shakespearean background. Oh, my Shakespeare. William is one of my husbands. So I need to write a list of all of my husbands. Poe is one of my husbands, and William is one of my husbands, and Freddie Mercury is one of my husbands. He's my favorite. So yeah, I have Poe, I have William, I have Cervantes. He is one of my husbands. So I've got my men there, and I'm like, yes, I love my men. And then I have my fantasy novels. So then I went fantasy novel author, and then I went and while all of this was happening, I was studying philosophy and psychology and sociology. So there's all that. And I crammed it all into my books, all of it. Like my books is a massive conglomerate of all of me. And then I went on my healing journey, and all of my creativity went on this massive pause. And that's exactly it. All of my art, all of my imagination, and all of my creativity from 2015 to the present 2023, I did no creating. And I cannot emphasize to you enough how much that killed me, because well, in 2015 my therapy basically taught me that, oh, you use creativity and imagination to dissociate, so you need to throw that away. So it was from 2015, it was just this massive no more. Oh my god, it did kill me. It was like this death, which is probably why I had such severe depression for that time, was because my creativity was gone, which is why I'm now playing in my playground as much as I am. This is my sunshine imagination adventures. So we're bringing up this Dungeons and Dragons game. That was it. In 2018, I was terrified, and I tapped into my Dungeons and Dragons. And I started to realize when I was DMing for Dungeons and Dragons, that's when all of my fantasies started to like spill over. No, it was 2014. Oh no, 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 no. My dates are all wrong, because I was D&D in 2013, 14, and 15. And it was when my therapy began, and I couldn't do it anymore because I realized that my dissociation and my multiple personality disorder, did not know I had multiple personality at that time. So basically it was interfering so much with all of this that I had to set it aside. And when I set it aside, I was like, all right, well, now what do I do? And I just completely gave up all creativity. So now that I'm at the end and my healing and my therapy is all done, I can now shut down the psychology, set it aside, and go, okay, I'm all done with that, because I actually don't enjoy psychology. Psychology it's not my fun thing. It is my I need to survive thing. It was literally a coping mechanism. So I'm like, I will study human behavior so I can maneuver around my abusers. So I studied psychology to survive, which I think is why I'm so fucking good at it, is because when people study psychology, they study psychology to help others. That's a great motivator, but you know what really motivates somebody? When your life depends on it. So I studied psychology because my life fucking depended upon it. It was to keep me alive. And literally I studied psychology as a survival skill. So I studied it in the sense of criminal and yeah, serial killer. Oh, that was a fun chapter. Studying the psychology of serial killing and criminal minds. Like that's where my psychology actually was. And then it was okay, so let's study the behavior of bad and horrible people. That way I could predict and maneuver around them. Then I studied the psychology of the victims, psychology of the survivors, and then psychology of the thrivers. And there's victim survivor. So it wasn't to help me, it was to predict their behavior so I could get around them. So my psychology is 100% predator victim, or yeah, predator and abuser psychology. And then I started to study, okay, now how do you fix this? So I was able to put myself back together again. And once I did that, I'm now at a point where I'm done with psychology because I really don't enjoy it, so I threw it away. And now I'm finally able to get back into my creativity. My creativity is actually who I am. So I'm back again. And I'm like, all right, now, because I have all this psychology background, I'm looking at it going, ooh, the psychology of imagination, the psychology of play. So now I really want to dive into the psychology of imagination and the psychology of play. And what better way to do that than to pull from Dungeons and Dragons? So I'm going, yes, Dungeons and Dragons. Because as a DM, Dungeons and Dragons provides theater. It provides literally whatever the fuck I want. And it's all coming together in this conglomerate. So on Thursdays, I get to play with imagination. On Mondays, I get to dabble in my psychology and bring people in with my psychology and teach them Triadic healing. And on Tuesdays, oh, we are totally diving into philosophy, and we're going to study and we're going to do educational shit. And then all the other times, I'm either podcasting, which is what I do in the mornings, because I love doing it. Oh my God, I love doing it. And I'm script writing now, and I'm so excited. So my son's helping me getting this computer up. So today is a tech day where we are launching Twitch, we're launching Discord. So I got Twitch and Discord and OBS, and I knew nothing about this shit. And I'm just going, yes. So I went on and I did a recording video, and I'm basically learning how to do all of this. I have no idea what I'm doing because I don't do tech, which is why I have him. Which is I'm so blessed because my son's like he's a gamer and he's developing his own video game, so he's doing all this tech shit, and I'm like, look, I will pay for your school, I will send you to school, whatever you need to know, let me know, and we'll get it for you. That way you can like be your own authentic self. My kids, I love my kids because they live in they live in Authenticity City. They are like the first citizens of Authenticity City. So my parenting style is they live in the city, they're in my system. So I'm like, hey, what matters is your authenticity. What matters is your intellectual and your identity freedom. That's all that matters. Your mental health is priority, not the system make money, you die, you're owned, you're a slave. We don't do that shit. I don't do the 9 to 5 shit. So, and it's so funny. Like all of this, I'm just so excited. I'm like, yes. So I spent yesterday and the day before writing up my script. Woohoo! So I'm writing up my D&D script and I'm getting that all ready. And I forgot that I haven't written since 2015. Like I have not written. I mean, I've journaled, I've blogged, and I'm like, okay, today was a delish day of stuff. I'm really tapping into my fantasy now, and I completely forgot how well I write. And I boast on this. This is like, yes, yes, this is my forte. Like really. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just so happy. So this is my favorite part of my Dungeons and Dragons game is you cannot come around me in my space without me acknowledging you. You cannot enter my space without me bring you into my shit. Like this is what I'm renowned for. No one can get around me without me dragging you into the shit, which is why I love podcasting so much, is because I love sitting here talking to people like, I see you. Oh, I see you. I'm bringing you into my world. And oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited. So I decided to use Dungeons and Dragons, which I was kind of doing back in 2014, where I was basically taking my fantasy novels and realizing them in Dungeons and Dragons, and then letting people come in and be like, all right, I'm going to trial out this scenario, see how this goes over here. And I loved it. And it wasn't good enough for me because like it was a fun trial to play around with. But at the end of it, I'm going, I want to do more. I want to do more. So when I'm building this Dungeons and Dragons game, the question was, do I want to do my own campaign or a D&D campaign? I'm a leader. I don't play with other people's work. I create my own work. So I was like, they were asking me, are we doing Dungeons and Dragons world? And I go, no, we're going to do this world. And this is Under Earth. And I'm like, yes, I get to go back to Under Earth. I am so excited. I haven't been in Under Earth since 2015. Oh my God, I'm so happy. So I get to go back to Under Earth, and I get to come back to my people and my characters and Colin and Bergen. And oh my God, I'm just so excited. So I'm going back home. I'm going back to Under Earth. And Under Earth is like so in my playground in Authenticity City, I have my playground and I have my happy sunshine adventures. That's my city side. And then the flip side of all of that is Under Earth, and that's the darker side. I've got the Devil's Dungeon. I have my Fae trials there, and it's absolutely submerged in Norse and Celtic myth, like totally like the Tuatha Dé Danann. And oh my God, I get to go back to studying Irish again. I was studying the Irish language at one point and learning how to speak Old Irish. I learned how to speak Old Norse, Old Irish, and Modern Irish, Irish Gaelic. So those were my 3 languages. And I also, my Spanish is embarrassing. I estudié español para 7 años. Y sí. And it's actually been closer to 20 years now. Like I should be fluent in Spanish. No, I'm not going to take shame for this. My family was so fucking racist that Spanish was banned. Anything other than white Republican was banned. So if I spoke Spanish at home, oh my God. So I didn't get to actually completely feel safe enough to become bilingual until I got out of that. So technically, even though I studied Spanish and I was in school in Spanish, like I couldn't practice it at home without getting beaten. So because, oh my God, we weren't that. We had to be white. So now that I'm free, yay, New York City. And like 99% of my friends are Puerto Rican or from Cambodia or something. Like now I'm free enough that I can be like, all right, now I get to like explore and embrace all the cultures. So yeah, cultural freedom is like, it feels so good. I have been told that I have a Latin heart. It's like, yes, but between the Irish and I need my cultural diversity. I need my cultural diversity. So it's all coming together. And I'm finally able to go back to my languages. And I finally have the mental space now that all my mental garbage is out of my head. I can now focus on the stuff that actually makes me happy, like philosophy and podcasting and theater and stage and writing and fantasy and play. And oh God, I'm so happy. So we are building all the tech shit today, which is way over my head. I don't know any of that. And my son's taking care of a lot of it for me. And I've been script writing today, and I have my books back. And it's just this is what healing looks like when you finally get all of the mental shit out of your head and you can finally focus on what actually gives you joy. And you can't focus on what gives you joy if you've got all this mental shit in your fucking head. And it's just so nice to finally be free of it. It's like an ultimate kind of freedom. So and the other day I started composing music again, and then I'm basically bringing all of my elements together to drop them on the stage. And this is where I say I'm an oral historian, is because a public speaker, I don't like that. A public speaker is, well, yeah, I have way too much bubbly personality to be a public speaker. Then that's bottom line what it is. So I don't have to, and that's it. When I use the name public speaker, it's like, so you want me to contain my enthusiasm and all of me, and just, no, it doesn't work that way. I get on a stage and I'm like, the stage, I'm home. Yeah, like it's I could totally do a one-man show of Sweeney Todd. Like I could totally rock that. So this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And I'm just so fucking excited that I have to like emote all over the place. So I had to just jump into my podcast and just regurgitate my enthusiasm all over the place, which is what I have done. So I'm going to go back to writing my script, and I get to go back to like doing this shit. Oh, I got to tell you. So this is what I was doing. So when I play Dungeons and Dragons, I'm going, all right, so I've got these stories. I have, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh my God. Okay. I can't spoil anything. So I gotta think about it. Because this is the root. And this is Bard's Oracle. My Dungeons and Dragons game is basically a prequel to this. That's what it is. It's a prequel to this. And I'm just like, yes. And this is something I have been wanting to write for a long time. This is really what my story is getting to, is I wrote this. And when I wrote this and Fire and Lies, I wish I had a copy of Fire and Lies, but I think my oldest daughter has that copy. Wait, no, that's Sage Cycle Book 1. So I don't know where Sage Cycle Book 2 is. I really don't know where Fire and Lies is. So I have Dolor and Shadow, then Fire and Lies, and then I was supposed to write Shadow and Ash. Shadow and Ash. I think that was the name of my third book. Let me check. I'm on my author website. Welcome to Under Earth. AngelaBChrysler.com if you want to take a look at this. The Sage Cycle. Yeah, Winter and Ash. That was the name of the third book. So it's Dolor and Shadow, then Fire and Lies. Both of those are available on Amazon. Then Winter and Ash. I mean, I really want to change that. Oh, I can't say Shadow and Ash because I use Shadow with Dolor and Shadow. So Winter and Ash, and then Blood and Embers is book 4. And there's 7 books total, but I've got the 4 books for now. And Winter and Ash and Blood and Embers are in, oh my God, Blood and Embers. And Winter and Ash was going to be like, oh, I still see it so fucking clearly. But then I've got, let me see here. I've got my short stories. There's my poetry. Printable PDF list of books. And then I've got my fantasy, Dolor and Shadow, Fire and Lies, Broken, Zombies from Space and Vampires. And then I've got 4 anthologies. No. Yes, I have 4 anthologies. So yeah, there we go. So Fire and Lies, and then Zombies from Space and Vampires. So, and I've got, where is my work? Yeah, currently writing. The scrapbook and writing tips. Let me go over to currently writing. Works in progress. Broken, Finding Me. Winter and Ash. Bergen Bane. Zombies from Space and Vampires. Fists in the Dark. Yeah, that's going to be book 2. That's something I'm working on. The Tower. Oh my God. So the Tower. Oh my fucking God. The Tower. I need to write the Tower. Holy shit. The Tower. I conceived the idea of the Tower when I was 12 years old. This has been a book that I've had in my mind since 1992. So I wrote down, oh my fucking God, the Tower. Oh, I can't touch the Tower. The Ice Queen. For You. Oh my God, For You. For You was my gothic romance. And I write macabre romance. And then Bergen Broken and Bergen Bound. Okay, so there's my Bergen trilogy. And now, all right, so let me edit this page because I'll add the oracle. So I've got the Bergen's backstory, but there's also Fan's backstory. And Fan's backstory ties into Bergen's backstory. All right, I feel so much better. Last updated May of 2019. Watch this. Last updated October 4th, 2023. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yes. Holy shit, it has been quite an adventure.
I did it.
You edited it?
No, I put it in.
Oh, you fixed it?
Showing up now.
Oh, Discord is showing up now. Wunderbar. All right, we'll go through that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not broken. Oh, that's broken finding me. That's the healing garden. Oh, I see what I did there. All right, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So Winter and Ash. Okay, so this is going to be my primary project now is the Bard's Oracle. Yeah, that's right. You're going to watch me do this. So, because this is backstage. All right, so the Bard's Oracle, the Druid stones, the Druid. Druid is the word druid from Old Norse, or I'm sorry, Old Irish. That is the Old Irish word for druid, the Druid. The Druid stones. There we go. The Bard's Oracle and the Druid stones. And this is going to be a blog novel, which means you're going to be, this is what I love, and I'll explain this in a minute. So there's the blog novel and the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game live on Twitch. So here's how this works. You're basically going to toggle between the blog novel, and it's already there. You can go read like chapter 1 and chapter 2 on my blog novel, and then Thursday, boom, is the live version. And it's not a reenactment. It's like chapter 3. So chapter 1 is a blog novel. Chapter 2 is the blog novel. Chapter 3 is live on Twitch. You get to see the game. Chapter 4 and chapter 5 are going to be the chapters. And then there's going to be the game. So basically Fand, who's the main character, is going to be follow Fand. All right, I'm going to update this, save it, and then I'm going to give you my full attention. Okay, so here's how this works. Basically, Fand has this backstory. And instead of giving little excerpts of her backstory, because she's such a huge fucking character, she's got her own story happening, which a lot of it is right here. And, well, not a lot of it, because he or she's like a tertiary character. Is she a tertiary character? She's really fucking big. And it's funny, because I also have Loki in here. Like, Loki. Let me see if I can find you a section here with Loki. Loki. All right, you know what? I'm actually going to read you this section here. Rune. Let me go over to Eric. Bring her in. Fanlingdon. Okay, yeah, here you go. So I'm going to read you this. Because this is part of it. The Sikona shrugged and peered up at the road. Whatever you wish. Oh my God, this chapter. Oh, I need to like bookmark this. Every time I find Fand in the book, I'm like, oh yeah, I was looking for this. All right. Oh my fucking God, I love this chapter. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love this chapter. I'm actually glad I found this because I was going to be looking for this. This is chapter 8 of Dolorin's Shadow. Holy fucking shit. Oh, wait, this happens before this happens? Oh, I did not realize this happened. This happens after Loki, part 2, Gale. All right, so yeah, this is it right here. All right, I'll go ahead and show you this. So this is chapter 8. This is literally part of fans section. So she's got this massive backstory, and she's got maybe 4 appearances in Dolor and Shadow, and then in Fire and Lies, she has a couple more appearances, and she's like a massive thread all through Dolor and Shadow and Fire and Lies. And she'll go on to be more of a thread. But then she's got this massive backstory. Like, what the fuck is her problem with Galan? And what is her agenda? And I got all this shit happening. And it all is explained in her backstory. And her backstory twines real heavily with Barrigan's backstory. Like, her and Barrigan have a long past, to the point where every time they meet, he calls her Hayfor, right? Every time they meet, he calls her Fahor, and she goes, Barrigan, still burning? Like, it's one of those things. And there's a reason why. And it's all explained in Barrigan's trilogy. But prior to Barrigan's trilogy, she has her own backstory. And that's where Bard's Oracle comes in. So Bard's Oracle is actually like, there's the beginning, and then there's the Bard's Oracle, and then it's Barrigan's backstory, and then it's Dolor and Shadow. So I've got like 4 prequels to Dolor and Shadow. And when I wrote Dolor and Shadow and Fire and Lies, the whole backstory started to unfold, and I went, oh my God, I can see all of it. So I stopped writing. And mind you, this is the shit I was doing with my creativity while I was going through my trauma shit. Like, I say I was a shut-in for 20 years. I really was. This is how I passed the time. I wrote Dolor and Shadow in my years as being a shut-in to cope with being a shut-in. This is literally, I dissociated so heavily, so I went into the books. And I used my creativity and my imagination to slide into this world so I didn't have to deal with the trauma that was happening around me. So this is where I lived. This is where I lived. I lived here. So when I say that it's my home, I mean, literally, mentally, my mindset, my abstract, it was my home. So I had all of this building up, and finally the trauma was overwhelming in 2015, and I had to stop everything. It was like so infuriating. And this is why I'm so excited and enthusiastic right now, is because when I walked away from this in 2015, I was putting this away, and I thought I would never see it again. Really? That's what this is. I thought I would never see this again. And that's why a lot of people don't heal, is because you think you're giving up so much. And what you don't realize is your creativity, your authenticity, all the things that you love, it's waiting for you when it's over. Except it all comes back without any barriers or bullshit. You can finally have it without any obstacles. It's like a smorgasbord from the gods, where you can just completely saturate. I'm looking this up once and for all. Smorgasbord. What is smorgas? Really? Is it board? Smorgasbord. Smorgasburg. Oh, including results. Smorgasburg. Oh, wait. Is that a berg? Smorgasbord. There we go. There we go. That's what I want. It's the Swedish. All right. Smorgasbord. Okay. The reason why this is important is because Borg is the Swedish and Old Norse word for castle. So I didn't know if I was saying Smorgasborg, as in Borg being part of a castle, or if it was something else. So board. There we go. So it's Smorgasbord. Okay, I feel better. I needed to figure that out. So, yeah. So, yeah, I can't watch Star Trek and hearing the Borg, and I'm just going, I hear castle. I hear Old Norse for the word for castle. Like, that's all my brain goes whenever I enjoy Star Trek, is Borg means castle. You're welcome for that. You're welcome for that. It's Old Norse for castle. Like, you needed to know that. So I'm sitting here like taking all this in, and I thought it was gone forever. And it came back. It came back this last week. And I'm going, oh my God, all this stuff that's been in my head that I loved so much that I had to give up for my healing is now back. And now that it's back, I'm going, oh, so I get to completely pour all of this into my script. The Bard's Oracle is part 2 of the backstory. And this was a huge, huge thing that I had stuck in my head. When I wrote Dolor and Shadow, and I got to the point with the end of Fire and Lies, I went, well, now what do? I can write Winter and Ash, but I can't write Winter and Ash until I give the people the backstory of Barrigan's books. But I can't write Barrigan's book. It was Give a Mouse a Cookie. I couldn't give Barrigan's books to the people until, and I couldn't figure out the rest because I had so much trauma. So I just had to shut the whole thing down. And I went through a massive depression grieving process that I was giving up these fantasy novels and this story. I was so, so upset. And I thought, I'm never going to be able to write again. And I couldn't write. I had writer's block, like you wouldn't believe. Writer's block is the subconscious mind saying, you can't handle this, sweetheart. You got to take care of what you need to take care of first. So I took care of it 8 years later. And here I am now going, oh, I get it back. So as soon as I got it back, I realized the reason why I couldn't tell Winter and Ash was because I had to tell Berrigan's story. I couldn't tell Berrigan's story because I had to tell fans' story first. I can tell fans' story. I don't need to get into the story prior to fans' story. I think fans going, and I think this is it, is fans going to discover the truth of what happened before. So there's going to be like a whole her uncovering the truth. So Bard's Oracle is actually part 2 and part 1, and you're going to get the discovery of part 1 with that. So it's part 1 and part 2. Yeah, definitely. I can see that because it's her sorting out the history because she's been lied to. So it's her getting down to the, like, what the fuck happened because people lied to me. So that's what the Bard's Oracle is it's the backstory of this monstrosity. And that's part 1 and 2. And then the Berrigan, the Bard comes in. Yeah. Berrigan comes in with his story, with Berrigan Bound, Berrigan's 3 books. That's covered. And then Dolor and Shadow begins. And that fills in all of that. And then I'll be able to continue with Winter and Ash. So and that's it right there, is I'll finally be able to continue with Winter and Ash. But when I was writing down Fan's story, one of the things that I kept running into that I struggled with over and over again was how I was going to tell the story, because I did not see it in fantasy novel format. And that's when I went, oh my God, this is going to be like blog novel, and then switch over to the Dungeons and Dragons game and let the Dungeons and Dragons game fill it in, and then switch it back over to the blog novel. So Mondays, so basically Friday through Wednesday is going to be the blog novel, where I do 1 or 2 chapters. And then Thursday is going to be the game day that plays out. And then it's going to switch back over and it's going to play it out. So I'm toggling between Thursday game night. So there's going to be chapters. There's going to be chapters of the story with the Bard's Oracle that take place live on Twitch as the game unfolds. And then it switches back over to the backstory. So you're going to need to, if you want to watch the Bard's Oracle, you're going to have to go through all of this. Like, and like I said, if you're into the Sage Cycle or Tales of the Druid, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I mean, book 1, I call it the Sage Cycle because I changed the series title because the Sage Cycle is far more appropriate. But the Tales of the Druid, I don't know yet. I have my other one here. Yeah, here it is. So it's the same book. It's just I changed the cover. So Tales of the Druid. And I realized that I did not have book 1 on that. I didn't like that. So I changed Tales of the Druid over to the Sage Cycle. So, but it's the same book. It's the same series. I had the book cover redone. And when I did that, I also re-edited the book. So now I'm doing the Bard's Oracle. So you'll be able to follow with the blog novel and then watch the game. And then I'm going to go into Berrigan's story. The question is, and this is going to be what I ask the viewers, this is what I'm going to ask the fans, is do you want Berrigan's books to continue as the Dungeons and Dragons game? Or am I going back over to fantasy novel writing with Berrigan's books? And that's the question, is will Berrigan's stories, and I really see Berrigan's stories as being written out fantasy novels. I do not see his novels being played out. I think only Fan's story, the Bard's Oracle, is going to be done via blog novel. So once her story is done, once Fan's story is done, I'm done with it. I'm trying to figure out where part 2 would be for that. So yeah, we'll figure it out. I will figure it out. So I'm done talking. I think I'm all set. Now my son needs me again, and I've got to take a shower because I need to cleanse. So thank you so much. If you love shit like this, like, subscribe, follow, comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you. I am going to be doing a podcast for the Bard's Oracle because I cannot contain the enthusiasm. So definitely going to be doing a podcast for the Bard's Oracle. So that's going to be part of this also because, yeah, I'm like oozing with enthusiasm. So, and it's also going to include backstory. I do rehearsals. I've already done 2 rehearsals, but those are going to be locked. And if you want backstage, it's going to be a thing. I'm going to figure this out because I need to. This will be. I'm going to figure shit out. I got to really wrap my head around this and figure it out. So, um, yeah, yeah. Once my quality jumps up, we'll figure it out. I got so much planned. My brain is starting to seep again, and once I get all this is like I said, this is my playground. So once I'm done figuring out the imagination side, I'll switch everything over and I'll update you. So this is the brainstorming part, and then I will switch back over. So like, subscribe, follow, share, comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you, so I know what I should do, shouldn't do. Keep going. What do you want? What do you want? Let me know what you want, and I'll give it to you. And then yeah, take a look at my link tree. My link tree is Authenticity Cities directory. So anything you want, if I've said anything where you're going, oh my God, I want that, it's all in my link tree account. Everything is. That's where you can find all the parts of my city, including the Bard's Oracle and my writing and my playground. It's all there. So just scroll down through my link tree account. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.